Good morning, ladies.
Good morning.
It's Mrs. Swayze and I here, your daily duo as you get, and we're coming to you today to hope that you're staying healthy and happy during these strange times that we're currently navigating. We know that your lives have changed, as have ours. We are still in the school daily, trying to do the things that we normally do, albeit a little bit differently. And the school is very, very quiet. We miss the giggles, the laughter, the screams, although maybe not so much the screams, but we generally miss the entire energy that you bring to the school, and it is greatly missed, and we look forward to when we can hear those things again. We are fortunate today to be able to gather together, albeit as a virtual community, but there's some important messages that we would like to share with you. And in the history of St. Mary's Academy, there's only one other time that the school was closed and classes were stopped, and that was in the flood of 1950. And at that time, the doors were closed and there was no opportunity to continue education. It was closed for the month of May. When they returned to school, the teachers and the students buckled down and managed to get through the curriculum as best they could. Our situation is a little bit different. It's a little bit longer than it was then, but we have, with technology, the ability to communicate virtually and continue on our lessons as best we can. Now, we're fully aware that this is not usual for you. It's not the same education as it was before, and it's definitely not the same experience as our teachers had as well. So just know that whatever struggles that you're having, many other people are as well. So we do miss our traditional ways of teaching. However, we move forward. I'm going to pass it over to Mrs. Swayze, who will be discussing our remote learning modules.
So all of you had received an email about 2.5 weeks ago discussing what remote learning looked like. So that should be in your email inboxes. Hopefully you as a family have had a chance to discuss all of that. So the key is that we recognize how important your education is, and despite the reality that we're facing, we're going to do this remotely to provide for you the best opportunity to make sure your skills and the foundation that you need for going to your next grade level is set and in place for you to have the greatest success possible. So our teachers came together in departments and in grade levels to determine what were the crucial items that you needed to have to make sure that foundation was set for next year. We've also been in contact with the government of Manitoba. They have provided some very strong guidelines for all schools in Manitoba. And St. Mary's has actually gone above and beyond those expectations. So for our junior students, and this is what the book would have looked like, your first page. For junior students, you're getting about 10.5 to 12 hours a week. And that's combined engagement. And what we mean by combined engagement is your teachers will be Zooming with you once a week, perhaps putting up their PowerPoints for you to watch. I know that some teachers are doing team PowerPoints for their grade levels. And then you have also time to work independently on your own. Independently is an important word here, whether you're in the junior years, whether you're in the high school years. This puts a lot of responsibility on our learners for you to step up to the plate the way we know you can and the way you have been showing us all year long already. Moving out of the junior years, our grade 9s should be doing anywhere from 13 to 14 hours a week on average. Some of you are going a little bit above that as well. Grade 10s also about 13 to 14 hours. By the time you hit grade 11, you're doing anywhere from 12 to 15 hours on average. Grade 12s, given that it's your graduating year, 12.5 to 16.5 hours. And the predominant focus is on the major core subject areas, and also recognizing that all your electives that you chose, those are important to you, and you also need dedicated time for those as well. When it comes, some of the questions we have is, well, what about our exams? Obviously, we're not going to be able to have traditional exams the way we would have in the month of June. Some of our AP students this week that are taking AP board college exams, they're actually writing virtual exams as we speak this week. We have stored your marks. We knew where your progress was when we broke for this pandemic response. We know that you are succeeding. so we have those marks as a point of reference. Having said that, everyone is still continuing with their learning, and that's an expectation throughout the province of Manitoba. And we here at St. Mary's, that's a very high expectation. Everyone should be engaging with their learning right through until June 17th. Your teachers are coming up with and continuously working on alternate activities where they can provide assessment, make sure that you're understanding your outcomes that are part of your curriculum, and those are all going to be kept track of. We will pay attention to the students that are having some difficulties. We have a phenomenal support team here at the school. Your teachers are ready to reach out to you, and you should reach out to your teachers if you need one-on-one help. All those marks and assessments will be generated and reviewed for your final mark at the end of the year. No one will be penalized because of this remote learning situation. However, all of you still need to be learning and engaged in your assessments and submitting your work to your teachers so that they can make sure you're progressing properly. If students are not engaging, that is a different conversation. We have only a handful of students who have chosen not to engage. We're super proud of the fact that you as a community understand how important your learning is and your education is. So we're very proud that we only have a handful of students that we're working a little bit more intensely with. If we determine that there are students who are having great difficulty with some outcomes, you will be having what's called a recovery learning period for about 8 to 10 days, where some extra work can be generated for you to make sure that you're actually understanding the curriculum outcomes to move next year in the fall. We hope to see you all back here. You'll have a lot of a nice smooth transition coming back and being ready for that next year. And that's basically remote learning in a nutshell.
To build on to what Mrs. Swayze had said with regards to the remote learning and the continuation of education, it is an expectation that you are continuing in your lessons. Now, we're fortunate as we are a full year school and that we had 75% of our credit almost completed by that time. That being said, the purpose of the remote learning and the continuation of your education is to prevent a gap or to make sure that you're transitioning well into the next year with the foundational knowledge that you need. There were some questions that came in with regards to education and grades and things like that. One of them is, will our grades be affected by online learning? Well, the question should be answered, Laura, would your grades be affected if it was on-site learning? It depends on how you are engaging. Are you continuing with your work? Are you submitting your assignments? Are you in communication with your teachers? Those are all some of the expectations and those are the questions that come in. Another one is, are we expected to continue our school schedule? Everyone is different. Everyone's home situation is different. You are to be in contact with your teacher. It might not necessarily be possible for you to meet and attend Zoom meetings or team meetings at that required time. But teachers have office hours where you can communicate with them, ask any questions that they have so that your education can continue. So it's different for everyone. It might help you to have that schedule during the daytime. Some people aren't able to keep that schedule. So it's different for everyone, but we are here to help you navigate those times.
And I think the key word there is routine. You need to develop a routine that works for you and your family. Having said that, the routine should start at a good point of the day. We know that teenagers love to sleep in. We also know that that's a dangerous habit to get into, because once you start, it's hard to break that habit. You all know how you feel and how tired you feel in September after the summer holidays. So one of the things we do recommend in your routine is that you are up at a decent hour in the morning, ready to engage in your learning. Hopefully that works for your family as well, but you should be setting that routine, because when you break the routine on a regular basis, you tend to put things off to the last minute, and then you might feel overwhelmed trying to complete some assessments and assignments. And we don't want to see that happen. So the earlier you set your routine, the better set it will be to meet all your deadlines.
And with that as well, for some of the students that are not engaging, what we want you to know is you're building a work ethic here that will continue into next year or into university, whatever that future may hold for you. So it is very important that you continue with your education. Some of the other questions that have come in is with regards regards to awards at the end of the year, whether it be academic or athletic. We haven't made any firm decisions on that yet, as we are still waiting for a little bit more guidance there. We are attending weekly, actually 3 times a week meetings with the Department of Education, so we are following all of the provincial guidelines. And of course, we need to follow the provincial guidelines with regards to social distancing. As you can see, we are following here as well. Relating to the end of the year subjects, we've discussed what exams might look like, or final assessments and things like that. But following our school calendar, there's certain graduation events and year-end events that cannot take place. For the grad dinner dance and the convocation, we have tentatively booked a date in mid-August. That the graduates already know, as do their parents. So we're hoping that we're going to be able to do that, but once again, we are bound by what the health minister says for our province. So we are working very closely and trying to come up with decisions, but please understand that things change day by day, sometimes hour by hour. It's a very fluid situation that we're living in, and we're navigating it as best we can. Some things that you might need to bear in mind during this time is we are here to help you. Mrs. Swayze, myself, Mrs. Unick, all of your teachers are here to help you. And know as well that we do have our SST, that's our Student Services Team, that's here to help you. We've got Mrs. Sigurdsson and Mrs. Bohannes, our school counselors, that are able to help you. We've got Sister Verlinsky and Mrs. Steves here to help you with campus ministry. We are all here to help you. All you need to do is reach out to us. And we have been attending many Zoom meetings. We've been emailing back and forth with you. I know it's not the same as it is in person, but we are here to help you.
We have, your teachers are ready to help. As you know, most of them have office hours. If you're ever in the midst of an assignment, feel free to contact your teachers using your school email or through your Teams apps. All of you are in Office 365 with your Teams channel now. That's the best way to initiate that conversation with your teacher. Mrs. Dato and Ms. Leblanc are still working as part of the support team with our resource department, and they are also providing extra structures for kids that might need them. One of the questions that one of the students had that might be good to touch on at this point, students are asking and comparing themselves in the amount of hours that they're working to other students. They might find that they're working more hours than other students or less hours than other students in their group. Don't worry about comparing yourself to the number of hours. Each student is going to complete assignments in their own unique way, based on their learning capabilities, their learning needs, and their speed of work. So if you take a little bit longer to work on your items, don't panic. If you're the type of student who can speed through completing assignments and they're of high quality, don't panic that you have less hours than another student. This really is, remote learning is so different from learning in a bricks and mortar school like St. Mary's Academy or any other school. You as an independent learner are working through your assignments and assessments at the speed with which you can. In many ways, it's ideal because there's no 55-minute bell schedule to keep you hooked in. So if you need more than 55 minutes to complete that, and that's your comfort zone, go for it. Just be aware that if you are finding yourself completely overloaded, that's a conversation then that would be helpful for you to have with your teachers and start that conversation. We don't want you to feel overloaded during this time.
And we know the questions are about marks, marks, marks. How will this affect my mark? So once again, we've got that baseline capture, but what we are super excited and you should be proud of you all for doing is that the engagement has been very, very high. And I would say in probably 95% of the times or the cases, students have raised their marks from that baseline score, and that's exactly what we wanted to see. So please continue right through the end, doing what you're doing, and be proud of yourself and give yourself a pat on the back for being able to accomplish those things as we navigate these different times. And
the other point too on that, just to tag on that, learning is more than just marks. A mark is a number that goes on a piece of paper as you finish your year and as you get your report cards. But true learning is the learning that you're taking through on your life forward, whether you're moving from grade 7 to 8, grade 9 to 10, whether you're moving from graduating into your path forward in the future, true learning is more than just marks. You guys are learning some amazing skills right now that your generation is going to benefit from for years. The determination, the resiliency that you are experiencing right now as a result of having to respond to this COVID-19 pandemic, those are skills that are going to be lifelong. They are deep skills that are going to develop and have affected your character already. We see the strengths in students becoming even stronger. So remember that learning, it's not just a number. The learning is bigger than that, and we hope that you keep that in mind as you keep progressing forward this year and into next year.
And so in conclusion, we'd like to say that there are many opportunities for your continuation of learning. Please check out our website. There's some great sections on health and well-being and wellness. There's lots of opportunities to engage. So we encourage you to continue engaging with your community. Many of our clubs are online, so we're continuing our club activities virtually. So we encourage you to continue meeting with your community, set your sights on doing the best, and keep the faith. Prayer is extraordinarily powerful. Mrs. Unick, Mrs. Swayze, and myself are here to help you, and we are all keeping you in our prayers, as are our teachers. We are in this together, and we look forward to being back together as soon as we possibly can. Until then, hold high the torch.